Hare Krishna. So let us start today's session. Uh, Today we have very exciting speaker, and many of you must be knowing Dr. Pawan Goyal. He has taken one bootcamp session also on natural language processing, and that was the most fabulous session in our series. But some of you may be new, and they might be coming first time in this session. So, in just briefly, I will introduce Dr. Pawan Goyal. So, Pawan Goyal, sir, has done his BTech from IIT Kanpur in 2003 from Department of Electrical Engineering, and he was one of the topper in his batch. And in his first year only, he got connected to Bhaktivedanta Club, and he was very active member of Bhaktivedanta Club. And he did his PhD in computational linguistics at University of Ulster under supervision of Dr. Behera. And his current research topic is natural language processing and machine learning, deep learning. On this very hot topic, he worked. And also, he has received many fabulous awards like Google India AIML Research Award 2020, INAE Young Engineering Award 2020, Facebook AI Ethics Research Award 2019. And besides all these achievements, he also practices spirituality very seriously and very nicely. And today we have come up with very interesting topic that is very relevant to all of you. Many of you face problem in time management, how to balance studies, how to balance life, how to balance spirituality and life. So all these questions will be answered in today's talk. And also there is one more surprise for all of you. Today also we are going to have Kahoot game, and today's Kahoot game will be really challenging. So everyone has to be really on their toes. So you can prepare your notes and hear very attentively. Today will be very exciting game. So please prepare and without prepare very nicely. Without taking much time, I would like to hand over to Dr. Pawan Goyal. Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah. Thank you, Jimnesh, for inviting me here, and really happy to be with all the new students. So, welcome all to this session, and we will try to keep it interactive the most we can. So, we will have the Kahoot quiz towards the end. So, maybe I will try to stop around 7:45, 50. In between, also, if you have questions, please put on the chat. So, what is the topic we are going to talk about? We are talking about this self-management, right? Many times we have this problem of how do I manage my studies? How do I manage this and that? And if you were there in one of the earlier session I had taken, I said, okay, the answer is mainly how do you manage yourself? Managing myself is the most important task. If I'm able to manage myself, I can manage my studies and everything else. So, how do we do that? So I'll try to go through some slides and we will discuss based on that. And meanwhile, we will also see if we can pick up certain points from Bhagavad Gita. And I am sure you all have some familiarity with Bhagavad Gita by now. Sure, so let me start sharing my screen. Sure, we are talking about self-management. So why do we need to talk about self-management? You see, we all want that you become very, very smart students in your engineering, and also when you go out you become very smart professionals. Now what stops you from being so? What are the challenges that you face, and what are the things that we can tell you in advance? Okay, yes, keep keep in mind this is important, and if you can take care of these issues, I think you will be on track. So certain life skills that are very, very crucial, that's what we will focus on. So what are the milestones of this talk? So we will talk about what is the need for managing oneself, right? Is there even a need for that? And what are the four pillars if you want to lead a balanced life? What are the four things that you should keep in balance? And that will help me derive some sort of success formula. How can one become successful? And the next step will be actually, yes, just follow that formula, right? Practice that. So yes, why to manage yourself? See, everyone, all of us have some goals in life, right? Nobody can say, "Oh, I am an aimless person." No, that does not work. Everyone has a goal in his or her life. Now, what happens when we try to pursue our goals? You will see that okay, whenever I'm trying to pursue my goal, sometimes I get a lot of confusion. Or should I do this? Should I do that? I may get stressed while pursuing my goal. I may not be able to manage, and many times it happens because of not being able to manage my lifestyle. So how can I uh, achieve my goals efficiently and decrease the confusion that I might have caused, this confusion and stress, and that can make me happy. So how do I? So that is why there is a need for managing oneself. So what would be the four pillars that I would talk about? So first one would be physical quotient. Then I'll go to the intelligence quotient, IQ. Then EQ, emotional quotient, and then finally I'll talk about the spiritual quotient. And that is where we will talk in terms of teachings from Bhagavad Gita. You see, when was Bhagavad Gita spoken? It was spoken in a to a person who was confused. Arjuna was confused about what to do, what not to do, right? And that is what we are talking about here. We are confused about various things. Now, what are the generic principles that we can follow that can help me in the times of stress? And these four pillars have been are known worldwide, and people have said, okay, yes, any person, organization who is out of quotient, right, uh, out of quotient balance, it cannot possibly be effective. So if you are part of a team and you are not good at one of these quotients, you will de-energize everyone. And so it's very important that you take care of these four quotients and try to practice a life where you are balancing these four, and not just okay overdoing for one part and forgetting other. That would in long run that is never going to happen. So let's start with the physical quotient, right? Everyone should be familiar with that. And we have heard all these proverbs. So physical quotient, when I say, it's more about what is my physical well-being. So how am I taking care of that? And we have heard all these quotes, right, from our school days and everywhere. Health is wealth, and a healthy mind in the healthy body. Now, what are the challenges that we face while maintaining our physical quotient? And this is very, very specific when we specifically to the student life. Many times we have seen people who are having very, very improper eating habits. So people would go to canteens at night 2 a.m. and start having their dinner. Right? That's very odd timing. It's not a proper time for having your food. And what kind of food you are having? You are having many times food that are not nutritious. You are just focusing on okay, what is more tasty for me, but finally it is not giving you any nutrition. So what is the point? So how do I ensure that I'm taking food at proper times? I'm taking food that is nutrient, so it is nourishing my body. It's very, very important. So now most of you, I think all of you are at home, and at home you don't have to take care of that too much because your parents are there and they are there to help you with this. But especially when you go to your college life, it's very important that you take care of your eating habits. So take food at proper times, and very wisely you choose your nutrition. So do not go for things that are just like, oh, I just like the taste and that's why I should do that. No. Low energy levels, right? Many times you say, okay, I don't have energy for doing things and don't have energy for doing things. And that happens mainly because you are not properly taking care of your exercises. Yeah. So you need to ensure that, okay, you have putting certain time every day where you are doing exercises, and that you will see will help you maintain your energy levels for the entire day. Especially in the student life, you have to work hard for achieving your goals. You have to really work hard, and you cannot afford low energy levels. So that is why important that you do exercises. Mental time irritation, that happens a lot, especially I might have told even in the previous session, this happens. uh, this is seen specifically in students when they are not even not even able to get up for taking their classes. They're clearly tired because, as I said, they are sleeping mostly at 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. right? The time when you should wake up, they're generally sleeping at that time. And what happens? You wake up at 12 or 2 in the afternoon, and you don't have any energy left. You're completely tired. You don't have energy to go to classes and actually go through your subjects. So solution is that you should take adequate rest, fix your time. So generally, even in Ayurveda, it is told that the time from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. is the best for sleeping. So you should try to sleep 10 to 2 plus you take whatever time you need. So you need 6 hours, 7 hours. So you sleep from 10 to 4, 10 to 5, and that should be the time you should use adequate rest. You cannot afford taking less rest than that you need, and also not more than that, right? In Bhagavad Gita also there is a famous verse that talks about that, right? Anybody remembers that? So this is Yuktahar Viharasya. So what does it tell? Bhagavad Gita 6.17. So it says, let me just read for you. So he who is regulated in his habits of eating, sleeping, recreation, and work can mitigate all material pains by practicing the yoga system. So you see the importance of adequate rest and adequate food. So whatever you need, not more than that, not less than that, is very, very important. So this is about physical quotient. Right? Now comes something that is higher than that, intelligence quotient. And this is something that all of you can easily relate. Right? And what is intelligence quotient? So this is mainly about what is our analytical and logical intelligence? What is our rational ability? How can I solve certain problems? Right? And it's measures for people who have very high IQ, generally, what are the kind of characteristics that they show? So one important thing that they show is that they are good at logical and analytical things. Right? They can do those. What else? This is something where I might want to spend some time. Long attention span. So, how have you seen yourself? Have you seen sometimes if you are trying to focus on a subject, how long can you put your attention? Did you feel that, yeah, I'm getting distracted while I'm trying to study for a particular subject? So anybody would like to comment, like, do you think you can have long attention spans? So what happens when you are trying to focus on a subject? So people say that, okay, I'm trying to study the subject for last 2 hours, but I'm still stuck on the same page. I'm not able to move further. Why is that? Why does that happen? Why does it happen? Yes, so lot of thoughts come into my mind, and I'm maybe doing 10 different things. I say I may be doing multitasking, right? Multitasking, that I'm also go to this lecture, I am doing 10 different things on my screen, on my phone, and so on. Right? And of course, variety of thoughts come into mind. I'm not focused. I'm not focused on the particular subject that I'm studying, and that creates a lot of problem. So what can we do about that? What can we do about that? So first of all, you have to understand why does it happen. So anybody who remembers that, uh, yeah. So while you're watching 1 hour lecture, you take more than 2 hours for doing that, and still, I don't know whether you're able to completely understand the concepts in that, even if you take 2 hours. So you see what happens. So we are not able to put our entire attention over that. So we should be very clear that, yeah, this is the time I have focus. I need to focus on my studies. I have set up some time, 1 hour, 2 hours, whatever, and that time I need to switch off my mind from anything else, any other thoughts. So so there's a very nice Sanskrit verse that talks about 5 specific qualities that a student must have. So one of the very important quality there is. So anybody knows what is the corresponding quality?
Bako Chesta.
Bako. No, not Bako Chesta. It's Bako Dhyana. There is Kaka Chesta and Bako Dhyana.
Yes.
So what is Bako Dhyana? Bako Dhyana, see, crane. So when crane is looking for a fish, it needs a fish, and it is very particularly focused on that. And its attention is not diverted anywhere else. It is just waiting for the fish. And whenever fish comes, it will go and catch. Otherwise, it's studying as if, yeah, it's doing nothing, but it is completely focused on that. And there's second thing there. So it wants a big fish. So even if there's small fish going around, it does not care. It does not care. It does not move its attention. No, I am looking for a big fish. So you have your goal. You have your goal in mind. So no, I have to complete this in I have to study this subject. I have to complete it in 2 hours. But so many things are in mind. I want to remember, but I'm not focused on my particular subject. I mean, why is that? Why does that happen? So Bhagavad Gita tells about that. Bhagavad Gita tells about that very clearly. So let me just read out that verse. So this is in Bhagavad Gita verse 2.60 and 67. Actually, two verses that are very similar that talk about this. So in 2.60, let me read that. So it says that the senses are so strong and impetuous that they forcibly carry away the mind even of a man who of determination, who is endeavoring to control them. So even if you're saying, okay, no, I I won't give up on this. I will give my 2 hours completely for that. But you see, your senses will be so strong. No. So that particular cricket match is going on. Why don't you see? Why don't you go and watch that? And why don't you see some YouTube videos? Why don't you open your WhatsApp? Why don't you do your Facebooks? Why don't you do all those things? Why are you worried about your subject? You can do that later. Just to spend 5 minutes on that, and you know that those 5 minutes will convert into half an hour, and so this is something that we face regularly, right? And similar 2.67, it says similar thing. So it says, as a strong wind sweeps away a boat on the water, even one of the roaming senses, even if you're the hearing sense, so I want to hear nice music, and then that is means, yeah, you're done. So on which the mind focuses can carry away a man's intelligence. So you can't focus your intelligence. You remember, you see that the word intelligence comes here when we are talking about intelligence quotient. So so whenever you are trying to do something, so that is particular thing you will see. Whenever you're trying to focus your mind on something, you will see that okay, all the time your senses are troubling you. You are either wanting to see something nice, you want to hear something nice, you want to eat something nice, and so on and so forth. But you're not able to focus on the particular thing where you need to put your determination. So so Bhagavad Gita talks about it again. So I'll yeah, maybe I'll talk about it slightly later in one of the later slides. People who are having high IQ, they're good with numbers and words, right? I don't know how many of you tried that in my when I was in school. We used to do all this calculation on our like ourselves without using the calculators. And also one thing I've seen, if you try to memorize Sanskrit verses, that help a lot with memory. So remembering Sanskrit verses will really help with memory. And yeah. So what are the challenges that you face with your IQ? So one challenge that you face is that many times you may feel I have a very low IQ. Generally you won't feel, but sometimes people feel that, oh, I might have a very low IQ. And you see, so there you have to understand that all of us, they have their own gifts. It's not that I may be good at something else that you are, and you may be good at something else that I'm not good at. So you should always understand what is your own skill set, what are you good at, and try to develop that particular set. Oh yes, I am good at that, and I should focus on that. Of course, there may be few things that you want to acquire. You want to acquire new skills. That's all right. You can always cultivate them, but it's very important. You have to do a disciplined cultivation. So you should be very focused on that. So again, Bhagavad Gita talks about that how if you want to achieve your goals, how you should practice towards it. So this comes in verse 2.41. So chapter 2 is, yeah, one of my favorites, because this is like the contents of Gita summarized. So especially if you are trying to start reading Bhagavad Gita, so go through chapter 2 again and again, and you will see so many points that would be not only interesting, but you start applying in your life, and you will see the change. So 2.42 talks about this. So those who are on this path. So this talks about people who are on this path of yoga. So they are resolute in purpose, and their aim is one. So you have you have a single focused attention, right? In the Mahabharata story, this story comes that so when Guru Dronacharya was asking everyone to, so he was practicing with all the students. So he put a bird, right, and he said that, so can you you have to shoot on the bird's eye, and then he asks everyone one by one and asks, okay, what are you seeing? And they give different answers. Some say, okay, I am seeing the bird, I am seeing the tree on which, so it was an imitation word, like they did not harm the bird. So I'm seeing the tree, I'm seeing the scenery, I'm seeing so many things, I'm seeing you. But what did Arjuna say, right? What did Arjuna say? This, some of you would know. What did Arjuna say?
I'm looking at bird's eye.
I'm just seeing the bird's eye, I'm not seeing anything else. I'm not seeing anything else. So their aim is one. They are not multi-branch. So it comes later. It says that the intelligence of those who are irresolute is many branch. So if you do not have your goal fixed, if you do not know what is your goal, then you're multi-branch. You will do so many things. But if you do so many things, you cannot achieve anything, right? So you should have your very fixed goal. Oh, this is my goal, and this is what I want to achieve, and then dedicate on that, right? But what prevents you from doing that is also told in Bhagavad Gita, right? What prevents you from doing that? This is in Bhagavad Gita, verse 2.44. In 2.44, it says, in the minds of those who are too attached to sense enjoyment and material opulence, right? Sense enjoyment is very important, right? So all the times you want, okay, so I was talking about the sense enjoyment, or I want to hear nice thing, I want to hear nice music. And yes, one of you said that, okay, yes, when we watch movies, we don't lose our concentration because you are doing sense enjoyment and your mind is happy with that. So you are doing sense enjoyment, you are enjoying yourself while watching movie, right? You are watching nice songs that you like, and you are enjoying that, and your mind does not wander that time. But whenever you are trying to focus your mind on doing something that the mind does not like, oh, why is he person focusing on? You make your resolutions. You will see, you make your resolution. I'll wake up early, and what would the mind say? Oh no, no, just wait for another 10 minutes, and you can wake up at 5:10 if you put an alarm for 5, and that will slowly become just the time when you have to. You can't afford to sleep anymore. Oh, no. Now you wake up, so you will make from 5 to 6 or 6 to 7 and so on. And so that is the daily thing that we go through. That is the daily thing that we go through. So yeah, those who are too much attached to sense enjoyment, so who are the determination for this to focus on that much attached to sense enjoyment, then this would not happen. So I want to do good in my studies, but I am too attached to watching cricket, I am too attached to watching movies, I am too attached to going out and so many other things. But so then that's fine. Then you should know that you cannot afford to be resolute. You cannot be resolute and actually do well for achieving your goals. So discipline is very, very important. Self-regulation. Sometimes you have learned maybe imperfect. Fine, you practice that. Practice under experts. And if you have insufficient practice, you learn by doing and teaching. It's very important. So you teach people. So I have seen it personally. So if you want to master something, you start teaching that, and that's where you will see you will learn. It's also told that if you really want to see whether you have understood any subject, you start teaching it to maybe those are very, very small. Years to you start teaching them and explain to them in their terms. Then coming to quotient, again, all of us understand that, but it's the ability by which we can assess, access, and control. When I say those of others, I don't mean to control theirs, but it's mainly assess assets and excess. So why okay, sorry, I think I lost my connection. Is that
Yes,
is
sir, you're
my
audible.
voice okay now?
Yes, yes,
Okay,
you're
sure.
audible.
Okay, sure. Just give me 1 second. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So it's more about how are we relating to others and how others are perceiving us. You see, so this is one of the pain points many times. Even people coming to IIT, they commit suicide. It has happened in IIT Kanpur, happened in Kharagpur, so many IITs. I think you are the most brilliant people. What happens that you're not even able to tell your feelings to others, and you're keeping it to yourself. So never do that. Never keep your feelings to yourself. Always find out someone with whom you can share. Never feel lonely about it. So if you don't find anyone, just reach out to me, and I'll be happy to speak. Okay, but yeah, I'm just saying you can speak to anyone, and they should. Uh, so you should express your feelings clearly. It's not about only negative feelings. Also, whenever you have something positive to tell, share with people. So it's very important. Do not keep it to just yourself, and keep negative emotions out. You will see whenever you have anger, sadness, fear, guilt. So these negative emotions will never be productive for anything that you do. Right? They will never be productive, and you cannot do anything good with that. So as soon as you can get free from all these, this is better for you, and that is something that people with high EQ, they achieve it. So they are not burdened by these negative emotions so much. So don't get dominated by that. And of course, so people who have high EQ, they become very, very self-motivated and good team players. So they whenever they go and join a team. So the team can be so 4 people doing some project, and they will say they will always bring their own energy, and they become very good team player. Everyone wants to hire. Yes, I want to be in that team. They can understand the hidden language. What is the hidden body language? Or is this person insecure, confident, and arrogant? So all these you can get from just by studying the body language. And very important that they are able to balance their feelings with reason, logic, and reality. You see, many times we start getting some negative image of other person. So even from one incident, something happens that I was not expecting, and I immediately say, oh, why did that person did this to me? And I start feeling some negative opinions about that. I start judging people, and that is something that we should always avoid. You see, so we should go back to logic. So instead of directly reacting and making negative opinions, we should go back to logic and see why did that person deal in this or behave in this particular way. You should go and try to develop empathy. You should try to go in that person's shoes. Okay, what might have been the reason? So you should think about the possible reasons that person might have acted in this way. See, I myself might have been acting in different ways in different situations, but doesn't mean that every time I'm acting in a particular way defines me. That may be just a particular situation. I was behaving in that manner, but I may not be that particular. I may not be restricted by that. So one should think about that, and you see, once you start doing that, your relations with other will have a completely new dimension. You will not, just because of a particular situation, you will not start developing negative opinions about others. You will give them a space. You will say, okay, possibly maybe that person was having a very bad day on this particular moment. Fine. So give them time. So what are the challenges that you may face? Yes, you may have a low self-image that you can replace by being self-aware. I talked about it even in IQ. So you should have your own skill set, and you should be self-aware about it. You may depend on others' opinion too much, but yeah, so you should have your own personal motivation, and you should know where do you get your personal motivation from. So that you should always keep in mind. You may lose your control in trying situations. So that happens a lot. So situations are not good, and I do not know. I completely lose myself. I become completely confused, I am completely in stress. This happens a lot. You see, and what should I do in that situation? And that's where again Bhagavad Gita comes handy. Bhagavad Gita comes handy. So very important verse of Bhagavad Gita. So you see, so it tells you that okay, the happiness and the stress are just two parts of your life. So you can never permanent. Neither happiness permanent. It's more about you deal with those. You have, say, everyone gets failures, everyone gets success. But suppose by failures, immediately you completely break down and you don't want to proceed. What would happen if in that situation, if you are breaking down on failures? You know that Walt Disney, right? Walt Disney, how many failures Walt Disney got? So newspaper said that okay, you don't have creativity. Walt Disney was told that does not have creativity, and he's no. Then what happened? So so in difficult situation, you should never lose control. You know, okay, happiness, distress are there. How do I deal with that? And simple solution is given in Bhagavad Gita 2.14. So it says, Matra Ishvasastu Kampeya, Shitoshna Sukha Dukkada, Agama Paino Nityas, Tant Bichasva Bharata. Right? So what it says, that the non-permanent appearance, right? Non-permanent appearance of happiness and distress and their disappearance, it also says disappearance in due course, are like the appearance and disappearance of summer and winter. What happens? Summer comes, summer goes. Winter comes, winter goes. But does not mean that in summer you will not do your work. Right? Summer is there. Yes, you will continue doing your work. Your mother will still cook in kitchen even in hot summer. Yes, she will still cook for you because she knows that if she doesn't cook, then who will feed you? So even in summer, people are doing their work. Even in winter season, even if it is cold, you will do all your work. You will do your take your bath. You will go to your school. Even in the winter, you will do that. So in summer, winter, people don't disturb us. Similarly, happiness distress are there. Fine, they will appear and disappear. Do not be affected by that. So that is something that one has to learn how to learn self-regulation, how to become equanimous. And negative feeling towards others. You may have negative feelings towards others that I have been mentioning earlier. So you should develop empathy. Negative feelings, sometimes you may also have insecurity from others. You may feel, oh, that person is better than me. You may become envious of others. This is something you should avoid completely. And when you start learning Bhagavad Gita, you will know that if you see someone better than you, if you see someone having doing really good in a particular field, feel the presence of divinity, feel the presence of the particular X factor. You know where is that coming from, where is the ability coming from. So you should feel the presence of God immediately instead of being envious from others. Okay, and that you see immediately that feeling can help you in that situation. And finally, coming to the most important part, the spiritual quotient, right? And what is spiritual quotient? You see, so immediately it helps me transcend from whatever physical things I'm going through, whatever happiness, distress I'm going through. It can help me transcend from that and takes me to a heightened state of consciousness. Okay, so this is more like what people say, thinking out of the box. It just takes me out of the box and then say, okay, I have something more. I have something more from which I can see from a higher perspective and think about situations. So I developed that wisdom, I developed that compassion from reading Bhagavad Gita and from following spiritual practices that can help me maintain my inner and outer stability. I can be stable in whatever situation I am putting. So that what is spiritual quotient? It gives you to answer or some deeper level. I have been talking about that it's very important that we ask good questions, and special question is something that can help you. I ask deeper questions. Who am I and what will really make me happy in my life, right? What are actually my needs and what is the root cause of all the problems that I might be having? So these are the questions that I try to ask, and when I ask these questions, you will get these answers from Bhagavad Gita itself. You will get these answers. Yes, it helps me ask this question why. All the time we are generally focused on the question how How will I do this? How will I do this? But we don't ask this question, why am I doing that? The particular thing that I'm watching this particular movie, you ask this question, why? Why is the particular pursuit that you are doing? Is it necessary? Is it fulfilling? Is it really adding value? Right? Start asking those questions. And then you see, instead of just focusing on how, we start saying, okay, why? Why should I do that? So Stephen Covey, who is a very, very prominent author, right? He had this book about highly effective people. You know what he said? So the most important thing is to decide what is important, right? So all of us might uh, come good at that sentence. We may know what is good, what is important, you know. But you see the second point, and then to put that as the first priority in your daily life, and that is something when we fail. We even if you know that, yeah, this is important for me, I fail in putting that as the first priority in my life. And this is something that we learn through spirituality, that, oh, why is my mind so spirituality tells me, the Bhagavad Gita tells me in this verse 6.5, 6.6, why does that happen? Why can't I, even if I know this is most important for me, why can't I put that as the first thing in my life? So let me just read that 6.5 and 6.6 for you. So 6.5 says, the mind is the friend of the conditioned soul. So mind is my friend, but mind is my enemy as well. For him who has conquered the mind is the best of friends. And for one who has failed to do so, his mind will remain the greatest enemy. Mind will drag you to things that you can't imagine. So even if you are thinking, even if you think you know what you need to do, your mind will not yet let you do it unless you have made him his friend. So how do you make mind your friend? That's what we learn. So just like we develop our physical muscles through so doing weightlifting and so on, so we have to develop our character muscles by overcoming challenges. So mind will give you so many challenges, all the circumstances. How do you overcome that? So that is where special quotient, the SQ, helps us. Okay, so key ingredients, yes, you get wisdom, courage, integrity, intuition, empathy, right? So wisdom is, as I said, thinking out of the box. So you get some higher dimension from which you can think about your problems. Now, I can think from a higher perspective. Even the very basic point of Bhagavad Gita, that I'm not this body, I am the soul. That gives me another dimension. That why I'm so much then worried about whatever is happening here, right? Having greater understanding of different possibilities, you get the courage, and you are able to question life issues, and you get compassion. And people who have high SQ, generally they follow a lot of very interesting characters that we really need and really want. So they are flexible. So flexible is something that, okay, yes, I'm not so stubborn that I'll only do that. Especially if you are in a role where you are part of a team, you can fit anywhere, and you are ready to serve in whatever way you can. So you're not stubborn that, no, I don't want to do that. No, you are flexible depending on how you can be of help to others. So how many of you know that Sanskrit proverb that talks about this? Vidya dadati vinayam. So how do you know that you have knowledge? You have knowledge if you are humble. So a person who has knowledge will not be arrogant. So you get humble, you get humility, you get tolerance. So that is the highest result of education, and that's what the spirituality tells you. So you become self-aware. You are completely understanding that, okay, who am I, and what are things that I need to do. I can answer from that higher dimension. What are the things I need to do, and what are the things I do not need to do, right? So you become, so we have talked about equanimity, right? You become equal in whatever happiness and distress. And yeah, all of you must have seen that quote from APJ Abdul Kalam. You get that particular vision. You have qualities like compassion, and you do not do evil things to those who are so you get forgiveness and kindness. So those are the qualities that you develop. all the specific religions that you see in the world that teach these qualities. But what happens is that, so people generally, many times people just look at the ritualistic technical details of religion, but they do not try to imbibe what are the essential divine qualities that are being taught by all the scriptures, and they are practiced by great people. And if you read Bhagavad Gita, you will see these qualities again and again and again. And that is where I say that how Bhagavad Gita has changed myself, changed the way I think about this world, I think about others, because I see how these qualities are important and how I can practice these qualities in my daily life. You see? So when we talk about mantra meditation, right? Mantra meditation. What is mantra? It delivers mind. Mantra. That is what it means. It delivers your mind, because your mind is completely restless and it is right now enemy. So how do I make sure that mind becomes my friend? And that is where the main crux lies. So yes, challenges can be, yes, you may not have uh, a clear understanding why spirituality is important. Yes, you should attend seminars as that, follow, learn Gita, live Gita, right? And you may have insufficient guidance. Don't worry, you get. There are so many of your seniors who are practicing that, and they can tell you how it has helped them. You may have misconceptions about spirituality. Yeah, don't. So I took one of the earlier sessions. Why you should be a neutral person? Why should not have any prejudice? This is a science. You practice and see for yourself. You practice and see for yourself the change. Okay, you don't. You can start from our words. You can say, okay, yes. So we the change. You can try, but then you will see the change yourself. Experts. You may have a fear that, oh, if I start following spirituality, I may not perform as well in my studies. That is the last thing that you can think of. So I have not met a person who, after following these practices, have started performing worse. Okay, it's always helps you, because you are able to um, you are able to make friend with your mind, and you are able to be 100% in whatever you're going to do, and that is all you need. If you are in your lectures, be 100% present there, and then you will see the change. You will see the change that you are how quickly. So the thing that people take 10 hours to do, you will be able to do in 5 hours. You will see how you become efficient, right? In IIT Kharagpur has a logo, Yoga Karmasu Kaushalam. So that is what it means. You get that particular thing. And yeah, don't have this fear of following something ancient. Right? This you should never have. Okay, yeah, I think, yeah, it's time. I think I taken more time. So there's also an Indian proverb that says that everyone is a house of these four rooms. There's a physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, and many times we just stay in one of the house, but that will not work. So we should go to every room, just even if just to keep it aired. I mean, so these four things that we have talked about, we should balance them, and you will see how following Bhagavad Gita can help you balance this. So yes, success formula now it should be evident to you. So what is success? A happy life, but also a meaningful life, and that filled with purpose. So it's not just a function of physical quotient, that is like health, well, luxury, not just EQ, not just SQ. It's a function of all of these. So you should balance all that, and that should give us success in life. And that is where I should end that. And thank you for being here. And uh, yeah, over to you.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much for, sir, such an exciting and wonderful presentation. Very lucidly you presented that how four pillars of life are there, and we need to balance it. And very nicely you have shown that how solution to all these problems are there in Bhagavad Gita. So this will really motivate all the participants that really one has to take interest in Bhagavad Gita and how Bhagavad Gita is really relevant to us. Many times people ask that it was told 5,000 years ago, and now it is a very modern science is going very rapidly in some direction. So, but here we can see that this is the life science, and these are the real problems we are facing. So there is a great need to explore the Bhagavad Gita, and I think this will sufficiently motivate all of us to dive into Bhagavad Gita. Thank you very much, sir. I think our volunteers are ready with quiz. So there was one question by Bhavya Garg when you were explaining this IQ topic. So his question is that, yes, Bhavya, you can ask yourself.
Yes, sir. So my question was that when we are watching some movies or the kind of stuff that we like, and we don't lose our concentration.
Yeah,
But
I
when we
think
are studying,
I tried to answer that in between. So I
yes,
took
sir.
that question in between also. So I was saying that you see, whenever you have to discipline your mind, whatever activity you have to discipline your mind, that's where the mind will have problem. So if you are trying to, so like if you may have resolution that I want to become a very good sports person, right? And for becoming a sports person, you have to actually wake up every day early morning. You have to go for exercises. You have to go for your practice, and you have to put all those efforts so that you can become a very good sportsman. You want to become a very good uh, actor. You have to go to the actually skills. So you see, if you are watching movies for becoming a very good actor, right, you will see your mind will start getting problem. But if you're watching movie for, oh, let me, I need to pass my time, I need to just do something to, yeah, to enjoy myself, to take it easy and, yeah, relax, mind will have no problem. But whenever you want to, okay, I want to focus on that, I want to see how to, I'm watching movies so that I learn how to write a story, how to write a storyline, how to, similarly you see, you will see for sports, everyone likes to, I'll say, just waste time for watching cricket and all, right? But but you see, it's very good to become a very good sportsman. But for becoming a sportsman, you have to go through a rigorous practice. When you start doing that, the mind will not like that. Mind will not like that. Oh, why do you have to practice so much? You just go and watch sports. That's good enough. You see? So yeah, that is the trick that mind plays with us. But yeah, very good question. Thanks for that.
Sir, I have also a question, sir.
Yeah.
Vishal here. Sir, actually,
Yes.
matlab, there are some testing. So, sir, I cannot basically open my video because here is dark. Means it is like that.
That's all right. That's all right.
So,
Sure, sure.
Yeah.
yes, means light has gone. So, so, sir, I want to ask that basically there are some testing situations in life, like we basically we are angry sometimes. So, is it unnatural, like, to lose fear at the time we should get angry? Basically, we when we are basically quarreling with quarreling with some people, like for for means justified reasons. So is it unnatural, or it
You
is
see, yeah,
our?
that is something only you see. That is something you can think. So, are you quarreling for justified reasons? So, Arjuna was fighting, right, for very justified reasons, and that is what this Bhagavad Gita was for. Arjuna said, "Oh, I have confusion whether I should fight or not." And at the end, yes, he was determined to fight because that was for very justified reason, and it was actually instructions of God also that we should fight this battle. So yes, of course, if you're fighting for justified reasons, that should be fine, right? But if that is not justified, then you should think back. Oh, is that even necessary? Why am I doing that? So that is where the higher understanding is important. What is this? Is this helping me? Is this helping the anyone else? Why am I doing that? There are times when you will have to fight. Yes, you should, but you should be clear that this is properly justified. But without justification, just because I am trying to satisfy my own ego, that should not be the reason for my fighting.
So are you saying, like,
So as such,
we
nothing is bad. So just being angry is not bad. So example is, mhm.
so are you saying, like, we should be in basically boundary of abhiman and swabhiman, like that?
Yes, of course, of course. You see, not only that, you see, you will have to fight whenever uh, your life is in danger or someone else's life is in danger. You are trying to save someone or some such situations. You will have to fight, but you're just fighting for your own ego. That you should not do. Of course, there are other things. If you can avoid that, you can take help of uh, taken help of police or someone, that is something preferable. But yeah, again depends on the situation. So yeah. And so yeah, means generally if there's a specific scenario, we can try to answer, but all the time we can think about that scenario. We can go back and reflect on that. Is that necessary that I have to fight here? And is it that justified? And if so, then sure.
And how we can do that evaluation of the situation, like
You see, that's where the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita comes very, very handy. So you see, so generally our mind generally plays all the tricks. So that's where intelligence is told above mind. Intelligence is above mind. And as we can maintain our intelligence by always remembering what is there in the spiritual teaching. So intelligence means I should be able to go back to the spiritual teachings and apply that in a particular situation. So that's where I have to learn. That's what is mainly about learning Gita and living Gita. So you have to learn those. This will take time. So you will have to practice that. Everyone, I have to practice that. I have to practice that okay, how can in every situation I can apply? What is the specific principle I should adhere to? And how do I deal in this particular situation? And this is what we are learning, right? We're not experts in that, but if we go through this manual Bhagavad Gita, so I'm sure we will find the solution. And you see, super soul is there, God is there within everyone's heart, and he gives intelligence at times. So if you are sincerely praying at any particular situation, he gives intelligence on how you should act in that particular situation. So yeah, so this is some answer I can give.
got it, sir.
So
Thank you.
I think we'll just take one more question because we have to do the quiz also. So just one more question. I think Jayesh is asking. So this is the final question. Then we'll start our quiz.
Hare Krishna, sir.
Sure. So by the way, Rajkumar Yadav has a question on the chat. He says that we should have aim and also we should not have to attach to the result of our work. How to understand at the same time? You see, that's the crux. That's the crux. You see, all of us should have aim, but the reals are never in our hand. See, we have prepared for JEE, right? At time, I might have succeeded, I might not have succeeded, and it should not. If I have not succeeded, that should not make me completely broken. Oh no, I don't want to follow this. If you're your first semester and you have really worked hard, and suppose in a subject you do not get an A, you were really looking forward to get an A, you do not get an A, and you get a B. See, once you get a B, you cannot do anything about it, right? This is already past. You cannot bring it back. But suppose you are completely broken by that situation, what will happen? You will actually not be able to do well in your next semesters, right? So it's very important that you don't get affected by the result, but you keep on doing your work. And you see, that will give you the best. That will actually give you the best possible result that you can get. But if you get affected by that, you will see there will be issues. Sure. So any other question?
Hare Krishna, sir. So my question was,
Yes.
with us, some people are there that they are with us, our teammates or friends. They succeed in that situation, and we do not succeed. And sometimes we know there are our friends or our family members or our close ones, but it develops some kind of jealousy and a little bit of it. And you said in the slides that we have to see the divine in that situation. So can you elaborate that?
Two things. One was the empathy. Another was that, okay, if you see someone being really good in a particular field, right? So we have to understand that, so if we don't have any capability, we have to understand that whatever strength that I have, whatever intelligence that I have, it all comes from a higher source. It all comes from Krishna, right? So if I'm seeing something good, So that's where I can start appreciating everyone. If I see anything good, I always say, okay, this is a quality that has come from directly from God. So I can start seeing divinity in everything. And that is something that we have to practice. So if I see someone is really doing good, someone is a really good scientist, I should see, okay, yeah, so that he's deriving that particular intelligence from God to do all those wonders. If somebody is a really good sportsman, yes, so where is he gaining all this strength? So we should start seeing divinity in that. So that is what I was saying, instead of becoming envious. So we can always pray that, yeah, I also want to succeed. That's a different thing, but I should not become jealous of another person.
Yes, sir.
Thank you
So
so much.
our volunteers are ready. So we are just about to launch our quiz in just a minute. So yeah,
Sure, sure.
Abhishek, you can just share your screen immediately.
So yeah, okay. So now we are having the Kahoot, right?
Yes, sir. You can also stay and watch for some time. It is prepared during the lecture
Sure,
itself. So if you are if
sure.
you have some time,
So
you
so
can.
yeah, so all the best to all the participants. I hope you would all do good. And of course, you know that, yeah, not everyone can come first. So yeah, don't feel bad if you're not the first. So just enjoy the game.
Can you see the new game pin now? So this is the new game pin. So you have to enter this game pin now. 3942501. And is the voice also audible? Just can you tell once if is the voice coming? Can you?
Yes, yes, it is coming.
Yes, sir. Yes.
So yeah, so this time the game is quite tougher than the previous one. So let us see how you all perform.
What is the time per question?
Oh, sorry. The time for each question is 30 seconds, and this time to not make it much difficult, we have not kept multiple choice questions. So most I think all of them are only single correct.
Yes, sir. It will be.
Because last time there was some confusion in multiple correct options. That's why. So is everyone available? Can we start the game now, or is those who have any issue in joining, they can raise their hands. We'll wait for just 15 more seconds, and then we'll start the game. Okay, I think we can start. So yeah, there we go. This is effective time management. 3, 2, 1. So this is the first question on your screen. Importance of physical quotient is discussed in which verse of Bhagavad Gita? So there are many words given. You have to tell which verse discusses about importance of physical quotient. So I think this is a tougher question. I told this quiz will be a little tougher than the previous one. So let's see. We have 16, 17 answers. 5 seconds left. So only 8 people were able to give it right. So this was told in the session Yuktaraha Viharasya. So one should be very regulated in his eating and sleeping. So this verse tells about that. So only 8 people got it right. Let's see the scoreboard. So Jayesh is on the first, Kunal is second, Anil is third, Sparsh Prasad Chirag. So we see some repeated names. So let's go to the next question. Next question is mantra means. So mantra means what? That which delivers the body, that which delivers the intelligence, that which delivers the mind, all of the above. So the correct definition of mantra is that which delivers the mind. So the all of the above was given to confuse you. So it is not necessarily that the mantra might deliver the body, and mantra conventionally means that which delivers the mind. So that's why the C option is more relevant here. So let's go to the next question. Let's see the scoreboard. Oh, many people did it wrong and some fell from the grace. So we have Bhavya Garg and Ayushi in the new entry. Let's go to the next question. So this is IIT Kharagpur tagline is. So this was told in the just the in the last line. Just I think was this. So this is a very tricky question. You have to see. Oh, so many people did it right. I was not expecting that 13 people will be able to do it right, but since you all people are very intelligent, so that's great to see that 13 people did it right. So let's see the scoreboard now. So we have Anil, Alok, Mishra, Kunal, Rajan, and Jayesh is on the top. So the score between first and second is not much. First is not much ahead of second. So let's see in the next question. So this is true or false? Spiritual life hampers our academic life. So this is a easy question. Let's see. 9 more seconds to go. Almost majority of the people gave it right. It's false. Spiritual life never hampers our academic life. You can see the live example of Pawan Goyal Prabhu. So yeah, Jayesh is still leading. Let's go to the next question. So the happiness and distress are like, so this is a verse in the Bhagavad Gita. Analogy is given. Happiness and distress are like, this is second chapter. So please give the correct analogy which is mentioned in the verse. So summer and autumn, ice and fire, summer and winter, hot and cold. Oh, so many people also got confused in this. So it was a tricky question. So Krishna says Sitoshna Sukha Dukkhada. So just like summer and winter comes and goes, similarly happiness and distress comes in one's life and goes. So one should not be affected by them. And also there is a proverb, this too shall pass. So Rajan has come and Nareen Rao has also come. So good competition is going on. Let's go to the next question. Jayesh is still leading. The mind is enemy for conditioned soul who has conquered his mind, who has failed to conquer his mind, both A and C. So read the question carefully. The mind is enemy for. So very few people gave it right. So conditioned soul, yes. So we are all conditioned souls, and we are our enemy is mind only. So because conditioned soul generally represents a person who has failed to conquer his mind. So if one conquers in mind, he immediately becomes liberated. So that's why both A and C are the correct options for this one. So let's see if the scoreboard has changed. Oh, Jayesh fell and Anil came on the first. So congrats to Anil for coming in the top position. Let's see if we can continue this position in the game ahead. So this is the seventh question, which is not amongst the four pillars of a balanced life. So the four pillars, this was the very basic, so it were mentioned, so which is not, read the question carefully, not among the four pillars. Mental question, yeah. So very nice. 19 of you gave it right out of 21. So that means you were very clever and you were listening very carefully. So I don't think the leader scoreboard has changed. Yeah, top 5 are same. Everyone did it correct. So Anil has corrected 7 answers in a row. That's why he came to the first. Let's go to the next question. So 5 specific qualities of students include. So this was mentioned in the session with analogies. So yeah. Oh. So 3 people also say that sleep like crow is a specific quality of students. But we are here to control these qualities, and 1 people also say that work like ass is a specific quality. So you have to answer it according to the session. So in session, the crane example was mentioned, that how it was able to catch the fish with a very high focus. So students must be also like that, highly focused. So, Alok Kumar Mishra did it wrong and he went out from the top 5, and we still have Anil and Jayesh very close. So yeah, 8 questions have already gone and we just have 5 more remaining. So let's go. This is the 9th question. PQ challenges does not include. So many physical question challenges were mentioned. So which is not physical question challenge. So this is quite easy question. Oh, 10 people did it wrong. I think they didn't read the question carefully. It says does not include challenges. So mental tiredness is a challenge, but consistent exercise is not a challenge. So it was written does not include. So I think in hurry people did it wrong. So the scoreboard, the scoreboard changed and Pradyumna came from below to top 5, and Jayesh and Anil are still on the top 2. Let's go to the next question. So this is the 10th question. Roaming senses on which the mind focuses can carry away a man's intelligence. This is a verse from Bhagavad Gita chapter 2. So which analogy was mentioned in this verse of Bhagavad Gita? So house carried away in a flood, strong wind carrying away boat on water, forest fire burning a tree, none of this. So there was an analogy mentioned for this in the Bhagavad Gita. So you have to tell which was the correct analogy. So just 2 more seconds to go. So 12 people did right. That's great. And 5 people say forest fire burning a tree, and none of these. So these were just made to confuse you. In the Bhagavad Gita, it's clearly mentioned that just like strong wind carries away a boat on water, so similarly a roaming senses on even on one sense, if the mind focuses, it can carry away man's intelligence. So Jayesh again came on the top, and I think Anil did the question wrong. That's why he got lost. So let's see This is a good game going on. So let's see the next question. Just 3 more questions are there. Solution to negative feeling towards other is. So how can you get away with this negative feeling towards other? So which is the best solution to negative feeling towards other? Yeah, so empathy. So many of you did it correct. So it was also mentioned in the session, and you have to answer the most as per the session and the most appropriate one. So yeah. Oh, so Vishal came beating Rajan. So just few more questions to go. Let's see. This is the second last question. So which of the following is not a challenge for IQ? So there are several challenges for IQ which was mentioned in the slide. So you have to tell which is not. Read the question carefully, which is not. Low esteem of one's IQ level. Oh, so very few people did it correct. They got confused with this option acquiring new skills, but this was mentioned in the slide. So you have to be careful while you read the slide and make the notes. So yeah. So let's move to the next. Oh, so Bhavya Garg has come suddenly in the top 5 from nowhere, and we still have Jayesh on the leaderboard. So just one question is left. So I'll just make a small announcement for. Please give this session feedback on the WhatsApp group about the both the Kahoot quiz and search session. So it will motivate us to bring more speakers. And please join tomorrow 6 a.m. for mantra meditation. And for tomorrow evening we have Python session, and in the, tomorrow afternoon, and in tomorrow evening we have a very special session of Professor Lakshmidhar Behra. So we have called specially. He was very excited to interact with you all when we told him that we are organizing such boot camp, and so he personally told us that he wants to take session and he wants to interact with you all. So he'll take a very interesting session on holistic development. So how to holistic development means development from spiritual every side development. So this will be a very interesting session tomorrow 7 p.m. So you should also join that session tomorrow. So yeah, so let's move to the final question. So this is Walt Disney's example was mentioned with reference to which question? So sir gave the example of Walt Disney. So it was given with reference to some question, like how he could overcome that question very nicely, and that's why he became so much big person now. Which was that? So only 9 people did it right. So it was given with reference to the emotional question, like how he got challenges and how he strongly he believed in his emotions, and he was rejected but still he continued, and how he got through. So yeah, so let's see the final scoreboard now. So third is Pradyumna. Second is Jayesh. Oh, so Anil has beaten Jayesh, I think. Yeah. So in the end question, Anil beat Jayesh. So that's very good. And we have runner-ups Bhavya and I couldn't read the Vishal. So yeah. So let's see the full report also before proceeding. Hmm. So yeah, so Anil is on the first with 85% correct answers, and Jayesh is 77%, Pradyumna 69%, Bhavya Garg 77%, Vishal 77%, Ayushi 62%, Kunal 62%, Sudhanshu Kumar 62%, Rajan 62%, Shobhit, Alok Kumar Mishra, Aditya, Suryanshu, Varun Pant, Harsh, Sachin, Anu, Subrajit, Arya, Sparsh Prasad, Chirag, and Kunal 1. Oh, so very nice. Every one of you did very great. So don't consider it. So there is no winning or losing here. There is just learning for this session. So this is not a semester exam that you will get some grade out of these ranks. So it's just that you enjoy learning the process. So yes, do give the feedback of this Kahoot quiz also to you can tell how what difference you find in the previous Kahoot quiz and today's Kahoot quiz, or what more do you want from this Kahoot quiz. So I would also like to thank Anshul and Abhishek. So they were continuously hearing, and they were continuously putting those questions simultaneously, and then doing it all while listening the session. So that is very difficult. Unless you have a very high focus, you can't do listening, putting the questions, and doing all those things. So yeah. So if sir is still there, sir, are you there still?
Yes, yes.
Sir is there still.
Yes, Abhishek. Yeah.
Sir, you can also give some feedback regarding the quiz. How was it?
No, I was really impressed with the questions that you had made. I did not know that you can make such fast questions from this session. And I
Is
think
it we
they were
just
really
started it
good.
from yesterday itself, and we are planning to do it for every session so that children also enjoy and they also learn from it, and we also hear more focusedly when we do this. Yeah. So yeah, thank you, sir, for your feedback.
Really
So,
nice. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks so much.
thank you also, sir, for spending time with us by attending the quiz. So yeah, I would like to thank everyone, and specifically sir, for being there whole while in the quiz and giving this wonderful session for today. So I got to learn many things from this session, and I hope all of you must have learned many sessions. So you can share the yeah, feedback and learnings from today's session in the WhatsApp group, so that we'll feel more inspired to do such things in the upcoming